Hi dear friends, welcome to my channel. It's Akshadhari by Devraj. Today today is 12th class and 12th video I am going to update. So let me see what is in today news. And I hope you guys are practicing the communication skills which I have told you in the previous video. Before going to start the session, I would request you everyone please subscribe to my channel, like and comment for uh, competitive exams related to life, personal and health information. So please subscribe, like and comment. If you guys have any comments, please leave the comment in the comment box so that I can come up with very good informative videos in the upcoming videos. So have a great day and see you. Let me start the newspaper. This is in front page. Let me open Bangalore edition, which is very always focus on which is in the front page, which are all news in the new front page. That news you guys have to focus. Biden Ma makes 2024 presidential run official. The limited rule of textbooks in history. Amid ceasefire, first set of Indians leaves war battered Sudan. This was in news. Most of the people were stranded in Sudan war. Sudan. That is, the government has taken the further step, and also the evacuation has been started by the government. So that was already done yesterday. Was to a group of 278 people was among the first to reach Port Sudan for evacuation. More measures are being taken to broaden Operation Kaveri. This for this government has put the name that is has kept the name for Operation Kaveri. Yes, now it is completely visible, right? The first batch of Indians stranded in a conflict torn Sudan was evacuated as part of Operation Cavalry and Food INS Sumeda from Port Sudan on Tuesday. The group of 278 people were among the first to reach Port Sudan during the 72-hour ceasefire that took effect from Monday midnight. They are expected to reach the Saudi airport of Jeddah within a day. The Ministry of External Affairs said on Tuesday that additional measures are being taken to broaden the operation. INS Tej joins Operation Kaveri, arrives at Port Sudan with additional officials and essential relief supplies for stranded Indians. Will boost ongoing evacuation efforts by embassy camp office at Port Sudan. MEA spokesperson Harindam Bakchi announced. Indian citizens at the Sudanese port told the Hindu that the Indian embassy had begun coordinating over the first 4 days for possible evacuation from Khartoum, Omdurman, and other crisis areas. Maybe let's see in the page 8 the complete details about this evacuation. SC to hear Leicester plea against BJP MP. Modi to virtually interact with 50 lakh BJP workers. Rebellion trouble continues for political parties. COVID-19 exposed holes in health infrastructure. Over the last 2 years, the BBMP has not been able to set up our hospitals in every assembly constituency, even as it is proposed at 1,242.27 crore health infrastructure project. In Malleshwaram, BJP riding the development wave. while Congress is owing voters with hyper-local premises. Heddedu Karnataka makes appeal to voters. 5 from city drawn in Canal in Mandya. Will campaign for JDS candidate in Mandya. In Mandya STD. As poll campaigning intensifies, the demand for helicopters soars. Helicopter rental firms say they are receiving queries from political parties and individual politicians who are in the fray. Chain snatcher arrested. Scooter driver killed in accident at Nandali Junction. Opportunities were here in this page actually, guys. If you are interested to apply for government undertaking government of India undertaking institutions like firms, you can apply here. Priyanka Gandhi accuses BJP government of looting 1.5 lakh crore from state. This election is neither about Narendra Modi nor about any leader from any party, says the Congress leader at a public meeting in Mysore district, while calling upon voters to ensure that the focus of the polls remain on welfare of the people. Modi to virtually interact with 50 lakh BJP workers across Karnataka tomorrow. Congress sits out at the government. Ishwarappa favors CT Ravi for CM's post. Rebel in trouble continues as independents stay in the fray. Hey, DWA asks women to choose wisely. Puttur, it is BJP versus Hindutva in this coastal assembly constituency. No scrapping of 4% quota to Muslims till May 9, says Sesi. FPM says only a strong center can harness power of states. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi flags up the Vande Bharat Express train, announces several railway development projects, and launches the Kochi Water Metro during his visit to Kerala. HC clears decks for defamation suit filed against Subramaniam Swamy in Singapore. 3 helicopters fly over Tirumala Hill Temple. Supplementary textbooks to cover deleted portions. CBI officials visit House of Vivekananda Reddy driver. Sharmila released unconditional bail. Film bodies not to cooperate with actors Nigam and Bashi. The Hand of Ordinary Politics. This is written by an editorial page by Verghese K. George. Let me read this editorial page. When the Indian Constitution was being born, its creators resolved that all further politics would be conducted within its bounds. B. Ambedkar said, "We must abandon the method of civil disobedience, non-cooperation, and satyagraha." When there was no way left for constitutional methods for achieving economic and social objectives, there was a great deal of justification for unconstitutional methods. Politics and a distinction. Political theories make the distinction between ordinary politics and extraordinary politics. Ordinary politics reproduces instituted order. In extraordinary politics, the sovereign, the people change the fundamentals and reconstitute the order. The establishment of a new order is deemed to be the hand of politics until it is challenged through an insurrection. David Haldy uses the concept of the hand of politics to analyze Marxism. The hand of politics or the hand of the era of the state means the transformation of political life as it had been unknown, with the establishment of communes. Extrapolating all politics aim for an end of politics. The founders not merely eschewed civil disobedience but also retained instruments of the imperial legal structure to enforce obedience by the citizenry. From sedition to defamation, which the principal leader against the current regime now stands convicted of. Not everyone agreed to the new constitutional order. The right and the left of the Indian political spectrum questioned its legitimacy from the very beginning. The manifesto of the Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP) in 2009 lamented that the leaders of the independent India continue to work with the institutional structures created by the British. which was disconnected from India's civilizational consciousness, yes. Political mobilization outside legally defined contours continued in what could be termed between the boundaries of insurrection and institutional political activity. Worse than British became a slur that was routinely thrown at the Congress regime by its opponents. Underground armed rebels, separatists, and political insurgents pushed the boundaries of the constitutional order. Conversely, political settlements with various discontented parliaments also tinkered with the original order. Then Prime Minister Hebi Vajpayee would famously state that a resolution to the Kashmir problem would be sought not necessarily within the bounds of the constitution, but of humanity. 3 points of extraordinary politics are milestones in India's journey to its current Hindutva order. The JP movement, the Ayodhya movement, and the Anna Acharya movement, all primarily confined to the region above the Vindhyas. What is common between the three is that they mobilized people to overthrow the constitutionally established order through insurrection, and even violence. JP called it a total revolution. The 1971 election made Indira Gandhi and the Congress appear unbeatable through institutional mechanism. The response was the Gujarat Navnirman movement that attacked legislators, followed in Bihar with similar tactics. And finally, JP's call to the army to disobey the elected government. It culminated in the declaration of emergency and the suspension of democracy itself. In the second, the Ayodhya movement, the BJP and the Sangha Parivar argued that the popular sovereign cannot be constrained by law, that is its creation. The Babri Masjid was demolished in 1992. In the Anna movement, a new system was sought for the summary punishment of anyone suspected of corruption. The entire parliamentary model of democracy was targeted as illegitimate and devoid of popular sanction. In all these three phases of extraordinary politics in India, the Sangha Parivar was a common factor. In fact, it was sequential, one leading to the next and culminating in the electoral majority of Hindutva in 2014. Elected Prime Minister Narendra Modi said India had finally freed itself from 1,200 years of slavery. A new order was being born. Paradox of order. When order is constituted, the instruments of the previous regime are taken over rather than replaced, as it happened at the founding of the Republic. Its transition to a Hindutva order was quickly followed by a reframing of what is legitimate politics. The long journey of the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act over many decades through various regimes is instructive. Since 2019, individuals and not only organizations can be notified as terrorists. Mere association with an illegal outfit makes an individual liable regardless of the commission of any illegal act. The Supreme Court of India told protesters at Shaheen Bagh 2019 to 20 that they must act within the bounds of law. Any criticism of the government is portrayed as anti-national. Restrictions on freedom of expression are imposed for undisclosed national security reasons, and foreign links make any opinion unquestionable. Simultaneously, the Ayodhya insurrection has been legitimized as a sovereign act through a judicial process, retrospectively. If institutions and law reproduce entrenched order, change often comes from the grey zones behind them, from MK Gandhi to Rosa Parks, from Nepal mice to those who were labeled eco-terrorists by the US legal system. Change and order are often conflicting precepts. Much like those in power use the law and institutions, those who challenge them also can use it, but only to a limited extent. The real change can come only through political popular mobilization or extraordinary politics. If the Hindutva regime deems all politics against it as anti-national, the undermining of the political process has a longer history. It is the celebratory ascent of neoliberalism that labeled politics as an inferior a moral sphere of collective action. Decision making had to be separated from messy negotiations of representative democracy and public opinion. And new concepts were established. Economy and development questions were deemed behind politics and to be decided by unaccountable experts for the sake of good governance. Civil society organizations were prompted as alternatives to political parties. This was partly an allied response to the deepening of the democratic process that produced subaltern parties and leaders that were not conforming to institutional decorum. Under the United Progressive Alliance, there was an informal core committee that became a super cabinet. The National Advisory Council became another body that worked outside the political system. The Congress outsourced deliberations outside of the party. Last year, after brainstorming survival strategies, the Congress announced a key idea to galvanize civil society organizations. An indifference, if not contempt for the electoral process, has now become a badge of higher moral standing in the Congress party. This erosion of the political was demonstrated during the agitation against the farm bills in 2020 to 2021. The BJP condemned it as political. Its defenders said it was not political. The BJP regime has turned the civil society debate full circle and has declared it as nothing short of a new front of war. In When a Protest Becomes Crime 2019, Caroline Servins formulates the concept of prosecutorial narratives, which imply the choice of a context, selection and interpretation of the facts, and the choice of certain perpetrators. For instance, she cites in 2000, Spain made a law that criminalized sympathy and glorification of ETA, which made routine politics of separatism illegal and prosecutable. Last year, the Jammu and Kashmir police created a case of narrative terrorism. Essentially, the prosecutor has the capacity to declare the bounds of legitimate politics, as it happened in the case of defamation against Congress leader Rahul Gandhi, who has been expelled from the parliament. The battering of the political sphere of action by neoliberalism has been brought to a conclusion by the extraordinary politics of Hindutva. Hindutva is still in the process of consolidation while it is using existing laws and institutions. For instance, to build the Ram temple in Ayodhya, it has also been made clear that the notion of a basic structure of the constitution is invalid in the face of the sovereign will. The next moment of the extraordinary politics is behind the origin of the movement, regardless of the outcome in Karnataka, which is going to the poll. This is about the complete detail about the ordinary politics, which has been written by Verghese K. Then one more, Sanskrit has official language. Ambedkar appeared amendment. Member of Parliament as a student of Indian political history. Let me read this. Jairam Ramesh has written this. Justice G.R. Swaminathan of the Madras High Court said recently that B.R. Ambedkar wanted to make Sanskrit the official language of the Indian Union. He is not the first person to say so. Some time ago, the former Chief Justice of India, Sharad Arvind Bobde, had expressed the same view. Predictably, the ecosystem of the current ruling establishment has latched on to these statements to further its appropriation of B.R. Ambedkar. It is true that on September 10, 1949, B.R. Ambedkar submitted an amendment in the Constitutional Assembly that proposed Sanskrit as the official language of the Union. There were 16 signatories who included, apart from B.R. Ambedkar himself, T.T. Krishnamachari, Dr. P. Subbarayan, G. Durgabai, and Dakshani Velayuthan. All signatories were from non-Hindu speaking provinces. Many newspapers of September 12, 11, 1949 published news of this amendment. They also reported B. Ambedkar tastily saying, "What is wrong with Sanskrit?" when questioned by the PTI the previous evening about this initiative. This remark suggests something to the amendment other than what justifies Bobde and Swaminathan are implying. Finding some answers. The answer are to be found in two books, both of which are considered authoritative as far as describing the process of constitution making was concerned. The first is Granville Austin's classic, The Indian Constitution, a Cornerstone of a Nation, which first appeared in 1966, and the second is B. Shiva Rao's magisterial The Framing of India's Constitution, that was published in 1968. Every student of law has read these books. Both had unprecedented access to public and private archives. In Austin's case, to the collection of Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and in Rao's case, to the papers of his elder brother B. N. Raju Rao, who, as constitutional advisor, had prepared the working draft for the drafting committee to consider and take forward. Rao writes that B.R. Ambedkar thought Hindustani should be the language of the Union and of the units. He goes on to say that Rao's working draft had used the terms Hindustani, but that the drafting committee had made an important change in keeping with the decision reached in the Congress Party deliberations and used instead the term Hindi. This was the only thing said on the issue of official language in the draft committee constitution that was put up for debate in the Constituent Assembly. Debate and compromise. The discussion in the Congress Party itself were highly acrimonious. On the one side were Hindi champions such as Purushottam Das Tandon, Govinda Das, and Raghuveera. On the other side were members who were mostly from outside the Hindi heartland who resisted the imposition of Hindi. In this category fell not only Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Patel and Azad, but also Shyam Prasad Mukherjee, who urged that unity in diversity is India's keynote and must be achieved by a process of understanding and consent, and for that a proper atmosphere has to be created. Shankar Rao Dio spoke for many in the Constituent Assembly when he said, I am an Indian, but my language is Marathi. If having Hindi as the official language means one language for the whole country, then I am against it. It was not just language, but more importantly, the issue of numerals that was to be contentious, with the Hindi camp champions insisting on Devanagari numerals. Ultimately, a compromise formula was worked out within the Congress party. This was called the Munshi Ayyanagar formula, named after K.M. Munshi and N. Gopala Swami Iyengar, who had worked the most to bring about the consensus. Interestingly, listed as its sponsors in the Constituent Assembly when it was debated were not only Iyengar and Munshi, but also W. Ambedkar. This itself is enough to knock the wind out of the Bobde Swaminathan view. The formula provided that the official language of the Union was to be Hindi, with this Nagari script, but that international numerals would be used. Notwithstanding this, English was to be used for Union affairs for 15 years, and Parliament could extend this period. There were many other elements to the formula, such as the enrichment of Hindi through expressions used in Hindustani and the expression of its library drawing upon Sanskrit and 13 other living Indian languages. Austin writes that the fact that amendments were submitted for Sanskrit as an official language by members knowing full well that it existed no chance of passage reflected the disgust and dismay which may assembly members by this time looked on the controversy. It is extreme frustration and despair at the obduracy of the Hindi only brigade that had driven B.R. Ambedkar and others to embrace the idea of Sanskrit as the official language. It was, in fact, put forward just 2 days before the debate on the language issue was taken place in the Constituent Assembly, as far as I have been able to unearth. Dr. B. Ambedkar didn't even move the amendment when called upon to do so. This is about Sanskrit when it was like Dr. Ambedkar thought about the Sanskrit to make language to make it as a national language, but it didn't happen at that time. So it's let me go to the furthest next page. The limited role of textbooks in history. Trinamool caught in a political flux. Kolkata records shortest tape released at the northeast sigil. On April 14, 16, and 17 this year, the city maximum temperature crosses the 40 degrees centigrade mark. It's really hot even in Bangalore also. Protesting mob sets police station on fire in Kaliaganj. Supplementary charge sheet filed against Sisodia. Fast set up Indians leaves what turns dawn. It's been yes, it was in first page. Let me complete read, not read. Just I would show up in visible. This was in the news. Operation Kaveri to evacuate the stranded Indians from the Sudan. Watan area city. Watan city. Watan city. Sesi to hear voiceless plea against BJP MP. Arunachal citizens unhappy about Assam border deal. Bihar government allows downturn politician Anand Mohan to walk free. Sri Shiromani Akal Dal patriarch and former Punjab CM Pakka Singh Badal passes away. They are to host SEO Defense Ministers meeting this week. Friends, right to CGI, right to CJ, seek note for same-sex marriage. Will remain in NCP, don't fall prey to remove rumors. Ajit Pawar, sent to conduct national conclave on Man Ki Baat. Defamation case, Rahul files appeal in Gujarat High Court. Mighty fear machine is silent on key issues. The test is how far can courts go on same-sex union. A sea change on the cost. BJP's election rhetoric drifts away from Hindutva to development. We must turn framing into an attractive and dignified profession. Rape allegation by ex-columnist against Trump heads to civil trial. Kenya starvation cult massacre to toll its 90 as a search positive. Venezuela opposition leader Guaido expelled from Colombia. Harry Belafonte, activist and entertainer, dies at 96 in New York. So it's very important, guys. So this is let's finish the job, says Biden. AT announcing 2024 presidential run. When I ran for presidential 4 years ago, I said we are in a battle for the soul of America, and we still are. This is not a time to be complacent. That is why I am running for re-election. The U.S. president said in sleeky produced video released by his team. Huge biological risk after Sudan fighters occupy lab. Sri Lanka seeks India's help in evacuating its citizens from Sudan. Iran books 2 women actors for not wearing hats scarves in public. Prince Harry sues Madhoj's UK group Williams settles a phone hacking claim. Oil prices, El Nino key risks to inflation, growth outlook. Serum Institute armed to invest 150 million more in Biocon unit. SVB type bank collapse unlikely in India, FinMin. IT pumps client additions dip on global macro pressure. Supima platform to validate FIMA cotton. Mahindra Vittan Nanda to retire. This is the sports page. I always dreamed of winning a match for DC. Mukesh Kumar, DC captain, won fine for maintaining a slow over rate. Sarach skip over Makram reduced lack of intent from his team. After Gil Miller, Abhinav through new Shah Rashid strike. Kuldeep Yadav trades Warner's leadership. Bowlers for vital win. Ajinkya Rane back in the mix for India. Rajasthan men make the final Fed Cup volleyball. India squad named for table tennis awards. Farmers coach Tony optimistic about Nadal playing Ronald Garros. Calls Quadrat named West Bengal East Bengal coach. Cricket shouldn't float handballs of violet at a time of climate crisis. Sajja Stadium always Sachin Tendulkar stand. Sumit Naga advances in Rome challenges. Injured alleged Jibo to miss Madrid Open. Mauritius Brace als Odisha slips the trophy. Restless welcome SC order. Where plan to start training that the protest from today. Stirling and Campus Stone help Ireland to file it on. This is the last page, guys. Text and context. News in numbers. J&K government to revive traditional millet cultivation. Jio rolls out for 4 times more 5G sites compared to Airtel. The consumer confidence index of the US lowest in April. The First Republic Bank says it a record low. The death toll of followers of a Kenyan cult keep increasing. Understanding temperature anomalies. Global warming doesn't mean that each month or each year will be warmer than the previous month or the previous year. The global distribution of temperature anomalies is due to land, ocean, atmosphere processes that dynamically determine the weather of and the climate. Genome sequencing and the Genome India project. Why is the Genome India project important? What is the significance of genome sequencing? And the code and social security for platform-based gig workers. Labor codes passed in 2020 acknowledge gig workers as new occupational categories in the making in a bid to keep India's workforce secure as it embraces new kinds of work. But the question is whether these codes have enabled workers to ask for the pay they were promised. Chernobyl disaster was a nuclear accident that occurred on April 26, 1986. The Chernobyl nuclear power plant equipped on nuclear accidents from across the world. This is about today newspaper, guys. I hope you guys enjoy the newspaper reading. Today reading. I hope you guys are doing great. And please read at least the newspaper each and every day, minimum 40 to 42 2 hours. Read each and every page, which is very important for the final of examination. So you will come to know. You will really understand what is English, and you could really improve your communication in the next 30 days. So after completing this tactics. I hope you guys are doing great and see you in the upcoming videos with motivational education and live personal interviews with teachers. So see you in the upcoming videos, guys. Have a great day. Bye bye. Take care.